Alright, so good morning. It's morning of day 2. We were doing sand school yesterday, and then we had a practice session going through a big dune field. So Bravo headed off. Bravo are our long wheelbase 110 trucks, a lot of the Wimics and the heavier vehicles, and then I'm with Alpha, which is all mostly short wheelbase and one fairly lightly loaded 110 that can move with the short wheelbases. So it was a really challenging day. The sand, I guess they had a really hot summer, no rain, so the sand is really soft and powdery, so a lot of getting stuck and recovering. And we moved in different directions. Bravo went off to the south and Alpha went north, and we were supposed to RV at a set of lat-long coordinates yesterday, but for Alpha we only reached there just at sunset, and we didn't have time to figure out where Bravo was, so we made camp and camped separately. The location we were supposed to be headed to was this circular feature which we identified as Mud Hole, and so we camped probably 200 meters just to the east of it. And Alpha had told us they were here. They were showed on our GPS locations just about 700 meters away. So this morning we thought we'd link up. We came here. No Bravo. All right, so what's going on?
I think we're trying to find Bravo, Command, or waiting to find Bravo, which involves sitting around eating shortbread. Right at this very moment.
So how did yesterday go?
It was really challenging, and it started off in the morning on a very steep learning curve, and yeah, you have to dig deep psychologically and physically a lot of the time because every time you think you've got over one challenge, then another one comes and another one comes and but eventually the challenges become easier to or less overwhelming anyway.
Okay, and 11:45 is 118.
So we're at the location where we were supposed to be, given the lat longs that we were presented with, and they're not here. So we're trying to coordinate now. If we don't hear from them, we're just going to move independently to our next navigation point, and it's about 12 kilometers away off to the east. We want to get moving before the heat gets too hot. And yeah, so normal start to an expedition.
Right, let's just check that's on the right one. Yeah, so at GMT 10:45.
So the plan was to link up with Bravo near an old Roman ruin, and then from there we planned a final navigation challenge, a target recce of a World War II defensive feature near a place called Bir Sultan. Yeah, good technique.
I'm being trained by somebody.
Zal dat straks fixen?
So it's about 12:30. Our general routine is at 12 o'clock we'll pull up somewhere flat. We put the vehicles into a row of 2 and we stretch some tarps out and get out of the sun for about an hour. The shadows get really flat kind of around noon, and so it makes it a bit harder driving. It's also the hottest part of the day, really, the next couple hours. So we'll relax, have a bite to eat, have a cup of tea, snooze a little bit, and then tear it all down. It only takes 2 minutes, and then head off. And we're still on our way to our target recce, which is about another 8 or 9 kilometers until we reach the jumping off point. So anyway, yeah, it's about 31, quite sunny. Trucks are going really well. no real problems. So Bravo Patrol is off further to the north of us, and they got into some low ground and some pretty rough terrain, so they set out half an hour earlier and got caught up in some pretty bad ground. So we can afford to take this little break and still probably not get to the objective too much after them. And hopefully if they're smart, they're doing the same thing we are. Anyway, so day 2, all going well. And yeah, we'll bash on in about half an hour. In the heat of the desert. And have enough. It's a bit of a strange thing that the Brits always want to drink tea when it's really stinking hot, but they got me in the habit. So 31 degrees, just made a blazing hot cup of tea. So that's one is in Yao in the Series 2. It's got a 2.25, nothing particularly fancy about it. It's got a fair bit of gear on board, and it is brilliant. It goes through anything, which just goes to show you don't need a big massive engine to do this kind of stuff. They rarely get stuck, they just power on through everything. So yeah, we're all really impressed with the Series 2. We're getting into an area that's kind of hilly here. So guys are just coming over the slope there, you can see. There's one SNO in the Series 2, 2.25 petrol. There's Franklin and Rachel, and they're lightweight. And we got Nick and Lay and Nick's 90 that actually climbed Ben Nevis when he was a streetcar. Steve and his wolf. And Bill and Oliver in a combination Discovery lightweight for TD5. And here comes Ray and my own Shimmy. By the way, the only truck that hasn't gotten stuck once yet, which is an accomplishment given the terrain we've been in. Bersoltain was one of the few places Rommel made any effort to place early warning defenses. 2 dismounted tank turrets were mounted on a small ridge facing south. But other than giving a real scare to Popsky and his Jeep, they never really accomplished much. All right, it's morning of day 3 out here in Tunisia. It's about 7:15 in the morning. Troops are just all packing up the trucks. So yesterday was a really, in some ways, an easy day. But towards the end, it got quite hard. Now, Alpha ran into a bit of rough country. The sand is just so soft this year. I made a big mistake and went off on a flank to find a better route, and we just got pushed further and further into the sand trying to find a route. And so we got separated into two groups in in Alpha Patrol. But when we finally got back together, our heroes, 1S and Yao in the Series 2, they are great scouts and route finders. They found us the simplest way to get through a bunch of what the locals call fesh, which is just really bad sand. It's almost impossible to get through. And we drove down a rocky hillside and into a dry riverbed that was like a little desert highway, and just motored on until we decided to make camp. And during that time, Bravo, I guess, it got up on the ridge and tried to cross the fesh, and only about half of them made it before they lost the light and had to give up. We were hearing radio calls that they were stuck in tight little bowls and couldn't get out, and I think 2 or 3 trucks may have made it out, and 2 are still stuck in the fesh this morning. So we're gonna leave in a couple of minutes and go link up with Bravo and then kind of assess the plan for the day. So today we're headed to the coastal mountain range where Wilder's Gap is. We'll enter the mountains around Chinini, head into Tatooine and resupply fuel and water, and there's a grocery shop there for those that need to get some fresh supplies. Then we're gonna head down to Burramere, and we'll camp outside the east side of the gap tonight. There's a New Zealand POL point. Basically there's a resupply area. It stores of fuel. Apparently there's tons of old flimsy jerry cans there. We'll spend the night, and then tomorrow we'll go into the gap and start moving towards the concentration area that the New Zealand division harbored up in for a week before they commence their flanking attack on the Marathon.